When Indian media took a tough stance against the US, I predicted that Modi would regret not reining in clowns like Jaishankar and Goyal beforehand, because he underestimated Trump's determination and overestimated India's importance to the US. When Trump imposed tariffs on India and kept humiliating it, I repeatedly called Modi a coward in my videos, saying he dared not fight back against US bullying and hid behind the scenes. To be honest, Modi, who loves wearing skirts and bragging everywhere, is the #1 war criminal responsible for India's current diplomatic predicament. As Prime Minister, he failed to focus on building infrastructure and boosting India's industrial strength, instead wasting time boasting about India's power on the international stage. This left India completely defenseless when attacked by the US. His bragging habit was so ingrained that it caused his subordinates to misjudge their country's status, making rude remarks and taking hardline positions against the US government, which infuriated Trump and led to severe tariff retaliation and diplomatic humiliation. Many netizens wonder why Modi, who cowers and stays hidden when the nation needs him and refuses to confront Trump, isn't afraid of losing votes. This brings us to a key feature of Indian society. I often mock that Indians have a memory of only 7 days and live in their own echo chambers, making them hard to influence with outside information. Modi's current strategy of shrinking back is actually very effective. On one hand, the country faces multiple crises and blows from 2 superpowers, China and the US. If Modi acts high profile, he would be held accountable. By choosing to stay hidden, he effectively avoids public opinion pressure. Even though opposition parties attack him for incompetence and lack of responsibility, none of that matters, because the next general election is still years away. Modi just needs to emerge a few months before voting, brag wildly, wear his skirt, and tour the country giving speeches, fabricate lies, and Indians' memories will quickly be overwritten by him, forgetting all his past misdeeds. Modi rose to the prime minister's seat with slogans of the Gujarat economic miracle and reviving the Bharat Empire. But more than a decade later, is Gujarat really much better than other Indian states? Obviously not. During his time governing Gujarat, Modi fabricated the so-called Gujarat miracle through data falsification, and the state's Human Development Index ranking in India even declined. Gujarat not only lacks an economic miracle, but also made no progress in education and healthcare compared to India's more economically advanced states. But none of that matters. Modi has already seized power. He uses it to suppress opposition leaders, persecute them judicially, and repeatedly intervenes in elections with state resources. At the same time, he and the BJP have bought off the media, forming a powerful and solid interest group. Clowns like Arnab Goswami and Paki Sharma keep hyping that under Modi's leadership, India has become a world superpower, a respected ally of Western nations, will surpass China to become the new world factory, and becoming a superpower is just around the corner. But 11 years have passed, and these boasts have not become reality. India was still crushed and humiliated by Pakistan in a border war. India has been wildly mocked by the US and Western media, from the New York Times to the British Air Force Monthly, appearing on headlines as a clown. But none of that matters. Indians do not even know they lost the war, because after the war, Modi held a 10-day nationwide celebration, declaring the Sindoor operation a huge success. The Indian Air Force announced months after the air battle ended that it had shot down multiple Pakistani aircraft, and such absurd behavior was actually explained by BJP fans as rigorous. However, facing the US's constant humiliation, Modi truly has no good countermeasures and can only choose silence. Because Gaudiya media spent over a decade portraying the US as a beacon of light and justice, a reliable democratic ally for India. This concept has taken deep root in India. Yet Trump and the US government are indeed humiliating India with words, restricting H-1B visas, imposing massive tariffs on India, and continuing to strike and humiliate it in various ways. No matter how the BJP explains it, they cannot bridge the gap between propaganda and reality. As soon as Modi shows his face, he must answer, Is India a superpower or just a punching bag for superpowers? Is the US an ally? If yes, why does it humiliate India so much? If not, did Modi and the BJP deceive Indians with over a decade of propaganda? Or is the Modi government just stupid and got fooled by the Americans? This is a dilemma no one can resolve. So Modi's best choice is to remain silent. Currently, Modi is negotiating privately with the US, using major concessions to stall the Americans. At the same time, he is anxiously waiting for commitments from China. Whichever of China or the US offers more scraps, India will pledge loyalty to that one. In fact, Trump is also waiting. The reason he has not delivered a fatal blow to Modi is that he is waiting for China's 20th Central Committee's fourth plenum to convene. This is the meeting that decides China's major policy directions for the coming years. Trump's recent repeated threats against China are also to increase his leverage. Actually, we do not need to rush. The meeting will convene and conclude in the next few days. At that time, China will give a clear response to Trump's tariff threats and Modi's begging. China-US relations will become clear by the end of the year, or even before December. Only after China-US relations are determined will China-India relations and US-India relations be decided. Given India's strength and status, it has no qualification for equal negotiations with China or the US. It can only wait until China and the US decide whether to escalate confrontation or ease relations. Only then will the India issue be handled successively by China and the US. It is worth noting that Modi had better start praying now for China-US relations to deteriorate rapidly and for both sides' struggle to intensify. Only then will India have room to bargain. Once China-US relations ease, India will face a catastrophic disaster. Let us stay patient and watch.